For every 5 Dogman characters that fans absolutely love, there are another 5 they can't stand, and today we're putting them head to head, starting with the most hated character in the entire series, Grampa. And unlike most Dogman villains who are usually bad in a fun and cartoony way, Grampa doesn't get to be lovable because what he did is personal. Grampa is Petey's dad, and when Petey was just a little kitten, Grampa walked out, abandoning him and his sick mother without looking back. That single moment is the crack that runs through all of Dogman. It's the reason Petey grew up lonely, angry, and evil in the first place. Every bad thing that happens in Dogman can be traced back to this one selfish cat, and he never really learns. Book after book, he comes crawling back under names like Crud, bullying his own son and causing chaos everywhere he goes. In Grime and Punishment, he even swaps disguises with Petey just to get his own son thrown in jail in his place. When Grampa started inching toward a redemption in Dogman 13, a lot of readers were genuinely upset because some things you just don't forget. But while Grampa is despised for being the cat who broke his own family apart, our first loved character is the exact opposite. A kid who fixes everyone he meets. That would be Li'l Petey, and on paper, he might be the purest character in all of Dogman. He's a clone of the villain Petey, created back in A Tale of Two Kitties to be an evil sidekick, who came out as the single kindest character in the series instead. He sees good in everybody. He's the one who turned Flippy, who attempted to drop him to his death in a volcano, into a good guy. He's the one who, in Dogman Fetch 22, melted the anger right out of Molly with nothing but kindness. He became Cat Kid, he got his own spin-off series, and he basically holds the entire Dogman universe together using patience and hugs. So he's obviously loved. But here's where it gets interesting, because Li'l Petey isn't perfect, and a surprising number of fans have a real problem with him. The more Li'l Petey took over the spotlight, the more Dogman himself got shoved to the background of his own books. So he's either the sweet little heart of the whole thing, or the reason some fans think the books drifted away from their own hero. To be honest, he's a little bit of both, and that's what makes him such a good character. But while Li'l Petey is loved for being too good, our next villain is hated for a much simpler reason. He's pure evil, and he's proud of it. Meet Piggy. Now, most Dogman villains have some kind of tragic backstory that explains why they turned out bad. Piggy doesn't get one, and honestly, he doesn't want one. Piggy is a pig with a giant ego and a permanent grudge, and every time he shows up, he's scheming, lying, and trying to take everybody down with him. Not because life did him dirty, but because he thinks it's fun. Just look at Lord of the Fleas. While Petey actually starts turning good, Piggy sticks around as one of the villains, happy to keep destroying the city. And what makes him so hated is that there's nothing underneath. Grandpa's evil comes from selfishness. Piggy's evil comes from Piggy just being rotten to the core. He's the guy that fans point at and say, yeah, no, I don't need his origin story. I just want him to lose. But here's the thing, the Dogman books actually need a character like Piggy. He's the villain with no excuses, the one who reminds you that not every bad guy gets a redemption arc, and that makes the redemptions that do happen mean so much more. He plays the pure bully role perfectly. But speaking of characters who seem like bullies on the outside, our next one yells at everybody all the time, and fans love him for it. That's Chief, real name Clarence Bailey, and fun fact, he appears in every single Dogman book, and he's the founder of the Junior Detective Club, whose favorite saying is, oh boy, this is gonna be great. On the surface, Chief seems like he should be on the hated list. He's loud, he's grumpy, and he spends half of his page time yelling at Dogman for being too messy, too licky, too much of a dog. In one book, he literally calls Officer Knight and Greg the dog, basically Dogman, the worst cops ever just for sitting on his new couch. But underneath all that shouting is one of the softest hearts in the books. Chief isn't just Dogman's boss, he's his best friend, the guy who's always secretly proud of him. And he's got the sweetest storyline in the whole series, a secret crush on Nurse Lady, the woman who literally came up with the idea to sew Dogman together in the first place. That slowly grows until in the Scarlet Shedder, the two of them actually get married. The grumpy old chief becomes a total softy husband, and it's one of the most wholesome things in all of Dogman. That's the magic of Chief. He looks like the mean grown-up and turns out to be the biggest sweetheart in the whole room. Oh, and quick thing, if you're this far into a Dogman ranking video and you still aren't subscribed, lock in and hit that button for the best Dogman content. Anyway, while Chief is the grumpy grown-up who turned out to have a heart of gold, our next villain is a grown-up with no heart at all, just a lab, a giant ego, and the mess he refuses to clean clean up. That's Dr. Scum, one of the newest villains in the entire franchise, and the guy who made himself hated in record time. Scum runs Robotime Industries, and he's the classic mad scientist type, the one cooking up disasters way bigger than his tiny brain can handle. He's the one who forces the newly good Petey to come work for him in the Scarlet Shedder, and by the end of that book, he's built an entire Dogman AI robot to try and take over. But what actually earns Scum his spot isn't the schemes, it's the attitude. Even after he's beaten and arrested, he's still throwing a tantrum, screaming that he's not some throwaway villain, that he was the real mastermind the whole time. With Dr. Scum, it's a totally different type of hatred than with Grampa or Piggy. Scum isn't scary, he's insufferable, and sometimes that's worse. But while Dr. Scum is a brand new character who nobody trusts, our next one is a character nobody could ever hate. Of course, it's Dogman himself. If he's not the most loved character on this list, he's gotta be close, and it makes total sense. Dogman is where the whole thing started. A police officer named Knight and his loyal dog Greg went to destroy a trap that Petey planted. Greg growled at the wrong wire, and the explosion left the officer's head and the dog's body in big trouble, until Nurse Lady had the wild idea to sew Greg's head onto Knight's body, and just like that, one unstoppable hero was born. He fights crime, he protects everyone he loves, and after Petey abandoned Li'l Petey, it was Dogman who stepped up and adopted him. He's loyal, he's brave, and he's impossible to dislike. But here's the twist that ties this whole video together. Dogman might be the most sidelined main character in all kids' books. Remember how a bunch of fans are mad that Li'l Petey took over? This is who he took over from. In the newer books, the story stopped truly following Dogman and started following Petey, then Big Jim, until the hero on the cover became a supporting character in his own series. While some fans don't mind, other people really feel it. They want more of him, not less. That's the sign of a truly loved character, when the loudest complaint about him is that there isn't enough of him. But while Dogman is loved for being the pure-hearted hero, our next villain built an entire career out of punishing heroes for fun. You might have forgotten about this one until you remember exactly what he did. It's the Judge, the evil, ruthless judge of the city, and in Brawl of the Wild, he took one look at Dogman, a completely innocent dog framed by the fleas, and sentenced him to 14 years of hard labor without blinking. Sarah Hatoff literally showed up with proof that Dogman was framed, and the judge just told her this decision was final and moved on with his day. And he only gets worse. In the Scarlet Shedder, he teams up with the mean cop Mod, kidnaps Dogman, charges him with made-up nonsense, and unlawfully sentences him to, and I'm quoting the book, infinity in prison. That's what makes the judge so hateable. He's not a big scary supervillain with a master plan. He's something that hits closer to home. A bully with authority. Someone who's supposed to protect the good guys and instead punishes them because he can. There's no evil lab, no villainous intentions, just a guy in a robe deciding that an innocent hero deserves forever in prison. But hey, at least a villain like that makes you appreciate the good ones. And speaking of good ones, our next character is the one fans say nobody should ever hate, and might just be the best written character in the whole series. That's Petey. And yes, I know he started as the villain, the world's most evil cat, the guy who literally built the thing that created Dogman in the first place. So how's he sitting so high on the loved list? Because Petey has something almost no other character in these books has: real depth. Every other villain is either pure evil or has no past at all. Petey has both a reason and a redemption. He starts as the bad guy in the first 4 books, and then in Lord of the Fleas, something shifts and he actually helps save the day. By Grime and Punishment, he's teaching Dogman how to act like a cat. He goes from doing everything he can to hurt Dogman to forgiving the father who abandoned him as a kitten, which, let's be honest, is bigger than most of us could ever manage. That's the best redemption arc that Dogman author Dave Pilkey has ever written. And here's the proof of how loved he is. Petey isn't even in the last 2 books, Big Jim Begins and Big Jim Believes, and fans have not stopped asking where he went. Dave Pilkey even had to put a special Where's Petey page on his website just to answer them. That's when you know a character matters, when the story feels empty without him. The good news is that he's officially confirmed to return in Dogman Book 15, A Sprinkle in Time. But before the king comes back, we've got one villain left, and this one crossed the line that even Grandpa didn't. That line crosser is the Fair Fairy. If you only read the newer Dogman books, you might have missed her. She comes from Dogman Fetch 22, and she might be the most quietly unsettling villain of the bunch because of who she's mean to: kids. She adopted Molly and her tadpole siblings, a whole batch of superpowered baby frogs, and not out of love. She wanted to use them. Her entire plan was to take these angry, powerful children and turn them into a weapon. Stop and think about that for a second. A grown-up villain whose master plan is manipulating a bunch of kids into being leading her personal army. That's dark, even by Dogman standards, but that discomfort is exactly the point of a great hated character. She's supposed to make your skin crawl a little, and the only reason her plan fell apart is the same reason so many things in this series work out. One small, kind kitten named Li'l Petey showed those frogs that there was a better way. But there's one more loved character, and she's been holding this entire series together while barely getting any credit. That's Sarah Hatoff, and I'm ending on her on purpose because she's the most underrated character in Dogman, and it's not even close. She's been around since day one of Dogman, and yet nobody ever puts her on their favorites list. And it's not like she just stands around. As far back as Dogman Unleashed, it's revealed that she's Dogman's biggest fan, and time again, like in book 3, she's the one out there helping find Li'l Petey whenever he goes missing. Half of the plots in this series only move forward because Sarah's there to break the story and rally everyone on. She's not the strongest or the flashiest, but she's the one you can count on, the character who's always doing the work while everybody else sits in the spotlight. And that's exactly why real Dogman fans have such a soft spot for her. She's proof that you don't have to be the hero to matter. Sometimes the most important character is the one holding everything together in the background. But if you like this video, I'd really appreciate it if you subscribe, unless you're secretly rooting for the villains. In that case, definitely don't.